Hello and good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for joining again for our free online lessons. So for today's topic, for this free online lessons that I would like to share you is the sheet metal custom punch tool. Right. So my name is Fikri, an application engineer from IK Systems. Right. So for today's free online lessons, we're going to take on how to create your own customized punch tools in sheet metals, which is inside of Inventor. Right, so this is our agenda for this punch tool here. So the first thing is we're going to create a simple cut punch, which is a flat punch. Right, so we're going to create something like a hole like this. So the second one is we would like to have our hole able to change the size according to the value that we can enter. So that is the parameters, so we can edit it using the parameters. And the third one, we would like to create not just a simple hole. So we would like to create a punch that will bend our sheet metals and create a few type of shapes. And that will be the embossed punch. And we're also going to take a look on some of the things that might hinder your punch design. Right? So we're going to see what are the things that we can do to fix our embossed punch. So let me share my Inventor. Right, so I hope you can see my screen. Right, so for those who don't know what is punch is, so punch is allowing you to create a shape or holes into a one point of intersection of your sheet metal. For example, here I have this sheet metal here, and to create a punch, I can start by creating a sketch where I put some points here and here. So once I finish, I can go into the modify here and I have these punch tools. And from here, I can select a different type of punch that I can select from here, maybe keyhole. So once I click, automatically it will add holes inside here. Right, so that is just a hole. But let's say if I have a bend of kind of punch or embossed punch. So for example, if I say if I have this. Right, so for example, something like this or like this. So when I click finish, okay, I think I need to make it this point here a little bit distant from each other. Right? So we have this emboss punch. Right, so we're going to take a look on how to create our own punch. So let me just delete this. So to start first, we can go to any new part files. So you can start with creating part files. And to create a punch, you need to design your own 3D model for the punch shape. Then you can add it into the punch tool here by going into the manage. And then we have these iFeatures here. So you have the iFeatures for the punch tool. So first, we're going to design our punch first. So to start, you can create a new sketch. So you can start by selecting whether the standard or sheet metals, but recommended that you use sheet metals because we're going to use the sheet metal rules there, the parameters. So, but first, I'm just going to create a simple sheet metal size here. Okay, so to start, it doesn't matter what size your sheet metal have from here. What matters is your shape for the punch. So you can create any size that you want. For now, I'm just going to convert this into a sheet metal because I start as standard. So I'm going to convert it to sheet metals and I'm going to select face to extrude into a sheet metal face. And my sheet metal punch here will be slightly thinner using a millimeter. So I'm just going to set the rules into millimeters instead. Okay, so it doesn't matter what type of thickness that you have because it follows directly the sheet metals that you have from here. So as long as you use the sheet metal default for this, so you should have no problems when you import to other sheet metals with different thickness. So to start, we can go back and create another 2D sketch from here. For now, I'm just going to show you a simple shape first. Let's say I create a circles like this. That's a random shape. Let me just make it equal. And nice finish. And you can extrude it using the 3D models, or you can also extrude using face, also can. Oh, sorry, not face. You can extrude using cut, also can. Right, but it does work if you use extrude as well. So extrude also works. So now that we have created our punch hole here, so we're going to move it into the sheet metal tools, punch tools. So you can go to the manage here and go to the outer, extract iFeatures. And from here we have standard iFeatures. So us will be the sheet metal punch tools, iFeatures, and start off by selecting the punch hole that you have created before. And from here, we can start to select the sketch, and it should be able to appear. But if it does not appear, then we need to check back your cut. So maybe instead of using the cut, so I think I will try to use extrude instead. Okay, actually not the cut is the problem. The cut is not the problem. The problem is I haven't put the center point. So the center point is the point here, right? Insertion point. So you need to put 1 for your punch, right? So once I input, so let me just try again. So the manage here, extract features, sheet metals, and I could click cut. Then I'm able to select save. So you can also select the sketch, but for now I think it's okay already. But if somehow you cannot still save, you can try to use select sketch and select the right sketch from here. But so the first important thing is you need to have this point here. Right, so I can select and save. So for this case, I'm just going to say selecting, let's say, right, so let's say I just create a new folder from here. I'm just gonna name this one as a hole for site. So I hit save, and I go back to my part here. And again, I need to add the point. So this is the point that you add. So that point will be added into this point. So without that points that we create previously, you will not be able to add. So you need to have a point, and then I can use my punch tool from here, and I can find under my punch, and then I have this. So I put OK. So I now have the punch already. So another thing that I would like to do here is I would like to make my punch tool a little bit customized, where I'm able to change the size. For example, if I put the punch tool here, say keyholes, I can go to the size here, and I can change the size that I want to do. Maybe this, let's say the length here is slightly shorter, around 8 only. So if we can shorter, then I can change any of the features from here. Maybe the whole diameter here, maybe slightly smaller as well. Automatically it will be changed. So when I can finish, so we can change. But for the punch features that we have, so the size is, there are no size that we can change from here. The size here is quite easy, is using the parameter value. So because we haven't set our parameters, so that's the reason why we cannot change it. So I'm just going to get into my sketch, and I'm going to add dimension and set the parameter name. So this one will be, say, 12, and parameter name will be, say, diameter. They are 1, for example. And the second one will be DR2, equal, let's say, around 4. So once I finish, I need to export back using the extract features from here. So select using the sheet metal punch features. And then you see the parameter that we add automatically being added inside over here. And the thickness will be changed automatically based on the thickness on your sheet metals. Right, but for now we have two extra things that we can control. So when I hit save, okay, before I hit save, I can also specify my punch ID and also custom. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. And over here, I can create the second one, or maybe I just can override this one also can. So I'm just gonna override here. And from here, I need to redo back this sketch. So I'm just going to delete. And I'm going to add the new punch that I have added previously. And then we can see we now have the ability to change the size. Maybe I make it slightly smaller. 6, for examples. Now we have a little bit customizable punch hole. So the next things that we want to do is to create a embossed type of punch. We have a punch with slightly bend. So that one is a little bit tricky, a little bit complicated. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first step is quite similar. You create and add your size from here, your punch size. Right, again, the size of your sheet metal here does not important. What important is your features that you put into the sheet metal there. Okay. Right, so again, this one, go to sheet metals. Right, so this one also thick. So we just change it to meters. And we can start to add our sheet metal here. So again, the first thing is you can create cuts or extrudes. The most recommended one is that I recommend for you to use cut instead of you using extrudes. What I mean here is that it's not the cut here. What I mean is the cut using the extrude here. So I recommend you to use cut and not create a joint like this, because usually you will encounter some problem. So to start off, start using cut first. So that one will work better. All right, so let me just make some editing back at the size from here. Another things, again, I also need to have the center points from here as well. So let me just make it a little bit equal in size. Right, and add the center point. So any point that you can, but usually it's on the center. Right, finish my sketch. Now, before we proceed, best practice is for you to test first whether this is okay or not. So you can go to the manage again and test your iFeatures whether it can be saved or not. Right, so it can be saved, right, because I have my center point. So the next thing is I would like to make some bend shape. Okay, so the next steps is quite important for you to use the project geometry, the most needed, right? So you need to use project geometry. So without the project geometry, you will not be able to extrude emboss correctly. Right. So for that, under the sketch, we have the project geometry from here. It usually will be done automatically, but since this is quite important, maybe I would like to create my project geometry manually. So I'm just going to turn off the auto project. So under the tool here, and I can select my sketch. But actually, you don't need to turn off, but it's better for you to turn off this, just in case that none other automatic project X will be included. Right, so I have done that. So now I'm just going to add some more features. So I'm going to add a rectangles from here. Okay, so I think better I start with project geometry. So I select from here, here, and here. So you need to have project geometry in order for this to work. Without the project geometry, it will not be able to extract into the project tools. So from here, I'm just going to do offset, and the thickness from here to here, I'm just going to use the parameters that we have on the sheet metal here, which is the thickness, the bend, so that parts will be added automatically, but the most important will be the thickness here. So if I check back on my parameters, so the sheet metal parameter will automatically add after we have converted into sheet metal. Okay, so I'm going to set this back, or maybe I just create back. And I'm just going to rename this one as a thickness. So each of these will follow the thickness of my sheet metal. So I can click finish, and I can start to extrude this one. Right, so a little bit thick, a little bit higher. So let me just reduce down to. Again, I can proceed to create some more, but best practice if you try to track back whether this is okay or not, so that it will not hinder your performance at all. So you will be able to see beforehand if there are any problem. So for now, I can click save. So meaning my features here is still no issue, and I can continue to add some more. So I can add over here as well. Okay, right over here, actually you don't need the project geometry anymore. I will show you later on why is that, but for now I'm just going to put project geometry because it's easier for me to select this edge here. Right, so this one will be thickness as well. Now, if I extract this into sheet metal, so it will look exactly as this into the punch tool. But of course, it's not realistic because usually we have a bend, so I'm just going to add some more features to make it look like an actual punch tool. Okay, so fillets here. Fillet will be following the, let's say, the bend. So I'm going to use the, oops, just going to use the bend radius. And here as well. Right, so add some more radius. So this one will be slightly bigger in the radius. So it should be double. Right, so I'm just going to use bend radius times 2. So it makes a lot more sense with this. And the last one, which is at the outside here, this one is just normal radius. Right, so again, I check back into my manage here, and I can use the extract iFeatures, sheet metal punch features. Selecting this one, you can see automatically it will select all. If there are problems, some of these will not be selected, but for now, I should be able to proceed. So I'm just going to hit save. And I'm just going to name this as a punch block. So I'll go back to my punch tool here, again set point. And I can start to add the punch tool from here. Right, so when I put here, we see there are some problem here. But when I try to click finish, so it will show me unsatisfied project geometry input. Right, so this one you need to specify your geometry where the face will be. So for example, maybe select this face, then you should be able to punch correctly. Right, so but we are missing some features. from here and here as well. Okay, I think I haven't put on here, but this can be edited. So if I edit my features, geometry instead of this front here, maybe I select the back here and I click finish. So this one actually more realistic, more correct. I think I missed this part here. But what if we don't want to do that manually each time we input our punch tools? So each time I need to specify my geometry. So let's see what we can do to fix it. So over here, the position need to be correct. Maybe I need to use my extrusion backward, but let's fix the, okay, let me just fix this one first. Right, so the things that we can, okay, I think I missed a few more things, but never mind. I think we can just proceed from here. Right, so once you need to extract, when you selecting the sheet metal punch features, so everything can be inserted, but on the position geometry, it gives us 2 here. So that is the reason why it confuses us on which plane that we should have selected. So for this case, I can just right click and combine geometry with this one. So when I hit save, it should be able to allow this script without me selecting the geometry, the right geometry. Right. So for this case, I'll add another punch tool from here. It still gives us this shape here, but when I click finish, automatically it will be created over here, right? So I don't have to select the geometry. So if I try to select geometry, so you can see no geometry has been added from here, because it's correct already. And as the size, same again with the previous method, you need to use the parameters, so put the dimension with the name in order to allow that size to be included inside over here as well. But let's take a look at some of the things that may be hinder your creation. For example, that some people would encounter several problems in creating their sheet metal punch tools. So let's see what is the reason why that actually happened. So this one, set back the size here. Okay, let's say I just draw from here. So again, you need to have a point. You can use rectangles to do your measure. Right, so again, best if you start with cuts or using the extrude cut here. But it's also still work if you use the joint. But later on, if you add more, that could be a problem. Right, so if I try to extract the features, so sheet metal features, so when I click, I'll still be able to save it. Right, so this extrusion joint still work, but again, best practice if you start with cut. Okay, let's continue and see what are the things that would become problems. Now, if your features here fail to create, most likely is because you haven't put the project geometry. Again, you need to have a project geometry in order for this to work. So without the project geometry, so if I click finish and I were to extrude this, and if I try to extract these features, sheet metal punch features, you can see when I click here, this one does not create it automatically. And when I click this one, so there are some error issue has been created over here, and I cannot save. Right? I cannot save. So the reason why, because we don't have the project geometry inside of this extrusion. So let's edit and fix this. So that project geometry does not actually need to be specified correctly. Just one also should be enough. So when I click finish, and I should be able to extract this. Extract features. And when I click here, you can see both of this is now been highlighted, and I can click save. Right? So you need to have this project geometry. Right? So if you want whole, better you just put everything here. But this project geometry only works on the cut that you have created here. You cannot just put project geometry outside here because, like I mentioned before, the size of the sheet metal does not actually important because it will not appear on your punch tools. The punch tool features will only include the parts that area that you have created. Right, so if I just click here, yes, it's still here. So if I click and extract the features, then you will see we'll have some error here. So it will not allow me to save. So again, we don't need to put here, we need to put inside here. Right, so let me just put here because I need a hole here. And I don't need, right, so I have something like this. And I can create more complex shape here. For example, let's say if I have another hole here, but for this case, I don't need to put the project geometry. So the project geometry only applicable if you put around this face or this face of the sheet metal, right? This face or the back face of the cut here. Anywhere around the new shape that you created, it will not hinder the creations. So if I were to extrude this, be cut or join also can. So when I click OK, and I were to extract these features, and I click here, automatically everything has been selected, including the cut here as well. And this one also works. It's also allow you to punch through this sheet metal here, as long as you don't create your sketch inside here. So if you create a sketch inside here, then you need to put project geometry. Right? So let's say I try again. I put the sketch over here. I click here, and I want to cut this through. Right? So there are no project geometry created. So I just cut, and it also penetrate my sheet metal here. But you still were able to work. So you still be able to extract these punch features. Right, so everything can be selected, and I can hit save. Right, so let's try to add some more things. So again, as long as I create something from here, I need to have project geometry. Right, so let's say I click here, extrude. So I don't put project geometry here, then it will not be able to extract. Right, so it missed this part. If I were to include this, then the bug happens. So to fix, I just need to add some project geometry, right? Even though the project geometry does not touch the sketch that I created, it still works. So if I were to extract again, then you see it's selecting everything. So again, you can also select your sketch, which is this one. But for now, it should be okay already. So I can hit save. And this one is a little bit ridiculous, but I'm just going to show you that it will work. I'm just going to name this one random. So if I go back here, and let's say I click point over here, maybe some point here as well. So I'm not sure if I still have spaces. And I click punch, and then I can add the random one that I clicked here, and here is okay. I can select this one. Okay, so you can see it's able to create that the punch features, even though the sheet metal punch should not look like this, but it still works. Alright, so that is the punch customization inside of the Inventor that I showed. Right, so I believe that is all from me. So thank you everyone for joining this free lessons. So I hope I can see you guys again on our next free lessons. So that's it from me. So have a nice day and bye-bye.